What's the wildest thing you've done on a night out? Last night my wife took 5 hours getting ready for a party. As we were leaving I commented that it took 5 hours for her to get ready and she said fuck it, I don't even want to go anymore, and we stayed home and fought. Intrusive thoughts make me want to show this comment to my wife. I just did, lol, fuck it. This hits hard. Just know you are not alone. I have a recurring dream/nightmare that I'm running late for some event, and I can't find my shoes, and then I can find my keys. By the time I'm able to leave, the event is over. I can't imagine living like this in real life. My wife takes forever when she doesn't want to do something, and she will purposefully be late too. If I say anything she'll pull the ripcord too. So I stopped saying anything. That's toxic as hell, and I know this cause I'm like this, lol. I've been actively working on it, but I remember my ex commenting that when I don't want to go I make every step of leaving just utter hell. From taking forever to get out of bed to purposefully wearing clothes I know she'll make me change out of. I took therapy and figured out it was something I just taught myself to do when I didn't feel like going somewhere growing up cause my parents wouldn't wait for me and leave, thus leaving me home alone, which 12-year-old me enjoyed way more than some boring family event. About 10 years ago, I was the manager of a local gym. Several of the clients were addict dancers. We became friends in one evening. 2 of them asked if I would like a one-night gig driving them to a private party and getting them home safe. I agreed. The party was in a very affluent area of Lake Tahoe. We knocked on the door and a large group of Chinese tourists that had rented this lake view house had a full-on laser fog nightclub going. The girls were doing their show and everything was going great. Several of the female tourists there started prodding me to remove my clothing. I was like, no way, but my 2 girls were like, take off those clothes and dance. I did, and we did, and those girls made almost $7,000 that night. Afterwards, we went out for steak and lobster and watched the sunrise over Lake Tahoe. It remains one of my funniest memories ever. Alright, so, you got a cut of the 7K then? LOL, one of the few questions I have for this story. It's not about the money. You guys are getting paid, meme, JPG. Steak and lobster is not how I was rooting for the story to end. I was studying at a language school in Berlin for a month. A bunch of us went out on the town. I'm not sure what we were looking for, but we ended up in a neighborhood that in 2007 you would have called sketch. We somehow ended up at a gas station and met this group of Russians filling up their car. Our group included a Russian girl, Tatiana, and a Polish guy who spoke Russian, whose name I don't remember cause he wasn't as hot as Tatiana. So they start talking and suddenly we were invited out for drinking and to go to this Russian nightclub. So obviously we said yes, cause Taken wasn't filmed until the next year. So we end up in an alley near the nightclub, and they open the trunk. And it's vodka, so we all just drink vodka in the alley for a while. We walk up to the club. It's a Russian nightclub, no foreigners. But the guys talk to the guys at the club for a few minutes, argue that we're cool. They finally let us in. I'm kind of an introvert, even when I'm drunk I don't really love the club scene. Can't dance for shit. But this place is 3 standard deviations above any other club I have been to. It's like a club from a movie where they have a budget to make it seem like clubs are magical. The music was insanely catchy. Tatiana leaned over and said, I like you. It was really loud. I said, I like you too. She laughed and said, no, I meant I like this club, and then I died. 10 out of 10 story, would watch the short film. OP should become a stand-up comedian and tell this story on stage. He could probably make a whole career out of it. May or may not have to take his shirt off, though. Jokes aside, I agree. I'd def watch this short film. You should have just said that, no, I meant I like this club too. I should have just gone for the very forward Slovakian girl from the first day of class. I was young and sheltered. I did get laid in Europe once when the girl was like, how many fucking hints do I have to give you? Bonus, we found a heart-shaped bed in the attic of the hostel. I had a similar story happen around the same time, 2007, but in Bavaria. We end up going down a long dark alley to a large steel door. The guy leading us to the club slapped the door 3 times and it opened to reveal a bunch of Germans line dancing to American country music. Most disturbing experience I had in Europe. My baseball team once had a gathering at the end of a good season. We were all drinking and having a good time when someone came up with the great idea to TP our catcher's house, who didn't make the gathering. We drove over, got some toilet paper, and TP'd this guy's very nice house. This was an over 30 rec league. The catcher didn't make the gathering because he was at work, was a doctor. That's what he gets for missing the game. Some people just don't have priorities. I would eat that. As a baseball team, that would be some first-class TPING right there. In the to be so, there were definitely some jokes at my ends for my weak arm. A long time ago a group of us were bar hopping in London, Ontario. A girl in the group knocked on a random limo window and asked for a ride to the next bar. Surprisingly, they said yes, so we all hoped in and got a ride. It wasn't until the next day I found out the guys in the limo were the tragically hip. I bet the band found that entire situation as amusing as you guys did. Probably the most exciting thing that has ever happened in London, Ontario. I was born there. So there's that. How did you not recognize Gord? Story starts at 4 p.m. Me, 23, deeply in love with a girl. Her not so much. I'm in the friend zone and completely unaware of it. So she clearly tell me while we're on my bed listening to Across the Universe that she will never be my girlfriend AMD, she just wants to be friend. I'm like, okay. She leaves at 5 p.m. and some friends call, they want to go out, and since I'm depressed I decide to get shit-faced with them. We hit a bar and during the night I end up with a cute woman on the dance floor. We get to her place and have some of the wildest sex I ever had at the time. I tell her I want to sleep home and that we should keep contact. When I get back to my shit apartment, look who is on the doorstep, the first woman. She says she is sorry, she made a mistake. We kiss and have sex. I woke up next morning and she quickly tells me it was a mistake. Plot twist, I am currently married to the bar woman and we have 3 kids. We joke all the time about this. Fuck yes. Live it up, my man. Back-to-back lays. My man had that wet noodle on a Saturday. Double dipping the dipstick. Glad you didn't continue to stay the second choice. My manager was a woman in her 30s and I was 24. She was pretty harsh most of the time, but not in a cruel way. Definitely did not have a friendly relationship with her, she was my boss. The company had a party downtown, and at like 3 a.m. a few of us, including her, went back to some trust fund guy's huge downtown apartment to talk. Then everyone else peeled off into different rooms to crash until it was just me and my manager on the couch having blunt life conversations. I told her about running track in college and she made a comment about my ass because of it. She had kicked her heels off and just put them on my lap, and my heart was pounding out of my chest. I got hard and she kind of started acknowledging it with her feet, she knew. Then she asked me to get a cup of water. When I came back, she had taken everything off and told me to do the same. Told me to get on top of her but said no, the other way. I was confused at first, but she wanted me to basically reverse 69 and I'd never done that before. I loved eating her but felt self-conscious about having my ass in her face until I felt her hands all over it. Like, she specifically wanted my ass where she could rub and grab and slap it. I really didn't last long and warned her, but she said just come, and I came so hard I kind of collapsed sideways squirming. Afterward, she said no one could know about this and we went about business as usual the next work week. Did anything ever happen again? Went to an EDM concert and did a bunch of Molly, ended up back at the artist's hotel for an after party and took a tab of acid at like 4 a.m. LPT, never take acid at 4 a.m. It does in fact suck, you will never get to sleep. For tabs at 10 p.m. isn't a great idea either. An acid tab at 4 a.m. woof yep. That's one long night ahead of you. I mean, not never. Source, good times. Me and the boys used to slop em up at the steakhouse, then drive home in our white Ferraris. But people can change. I used to be a piece of shit too, but babies need to know people can change.